Welcome to Guided Meditation and Mindful Movement with Leo Gray for Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. Visit us on Facebook at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center or on the web at urbanyoga.org. Stop by the tip jar to make donations to support our online offerings and check out the schedule, which can change from 1 month to the next. We don't change during the month, but so we have what? Well, less than a week, actually. It's the 26th. So could be some changes coming up. We shall see what next week brings. I guess what, Tuesday? Tuesday will be the first. Anyway, here we are. We're going to start this evening's practice in constructive rest, which looks vaguely like this, but not like this. I'm going to talk you there step by step, the way that I learned to come to constructive rest. Some folks also call it active rest. Bring your knees towards your chest, and often the next cue is hug your knees. We're not going to hug the knees. Your hands can just rest on the floor for now. Move your knees around. Just let your legs drift. Picturing, feeling femurs and hip sockets. So just letting the weight of your leg kind of hang there and wobble around. Just feeling into those hip sockets. Then one at a time, let your feet flop down onto the floor. Soles of the feet on the floor. And then we're going to adjust. You want to have your knees lean in towards each other, but you want to reduce the sensation of effort in your legs. Some degree of pointing your heels out and your toes in. It's usually what gets us there. So see what little adjustments you can make in your feet, the position of your feet, to allow your legs to be as passive as possible. And then bring your hands to your bottom ribs. So the bottom rib crosses your palm. Fingers are on your belly and thumbs are on your ribs. Wrists are long and open, elbows resting on the floor. You can close your eyes if you want. That's our posture. That's all the positional cueing. Notice your breath, inviting it to slow down and get deeper simply by focusing on it. And I'll speak some more about this posture. It gives us a good amount of grounding contact, a lot of the back pressing to the ground, taking pressure off the lower back. And it's some nice passive opening for hips and shoulders, just the position that the arms and legs are in. And having our hands where they are gives some good breath awareness, some nice grounding contact. And is a good, healthful resting posture for the hands and the wrists. This posture also allows the fluid in your spinal column to distribute evenly, hydrating the discs in your spine more evenly. Those cushions between your vertebrae, cartilage. And spending 17 minutes in this posture will actually let your spine reach its maximum length. We won't spend that long, nor will I time how long we're here, but it's not going to be 17 minutes. It's kind of a nice fact to have on file. I will sometimes use this posture just doing a meditation practice, not leading into any further movement practice, but setting a 20-minute timer, I will give myself time to get situated. And then when the timer goes off, I know I've been in active rest for 17 minutes or probably a little more. Now take in your surroundings, turning outward for a moment. what ways is your environment reaching your senses? This has a grounding effect in itself. And also just helps with awareness. So it's a restful posture, but we're not doing this to go to sleep. We want to stay conscious and mindful. It's an intentional practice. Notice the movements of your breath that's now gotten significantly deeper and slower. The way your contact with the floor changes as you breathe. Which brings us to the special breath work we'll focus on today. Breath itself can be our meditation. So there's a breathing exercise I learned to pair with this posture. That includes a fun, delicious visual. The way I learned it, and you can change it up to suit yourself, but I was cued to imagine myself at my 100th birthday party. And if you want to pick a different age, that's fine. You'll see in a moment why we say 100. Hey, you could go science fictional and say 200 if you want. And here comes the cake with all those candles. Now, sometimes we don't do, 25 candles for a 25-year-old, but let's pretend it's a big cake and there are actually 100 candles. And the challenge is to blow them all out in one breath. So we're going to take a big inhale, not forcing or straining anything, but a nice long inhale. And then through pursed lips, just blowing out the candles. Exhale slowly and steadily. So a really long exhale, again, without straining or going crazy. So start a nice big inhale. And exhale, go for those candles. And we're going to keep doing it. So you can picture rewinding the tape or imagine you're on TikTok. It could be the most chill TikTok clip ever. Another big inhale and another round of trying to blow out all those candles in one long breath. And we'll keep doing it. As you continue for a few more rounds of candles, I'll speak to what this exercise can do. And sometimes the effects are more subtle, so don't let it worry you if you don't feel what I'm describing. What I generally feel and what is often felt after some repetitions of this very long, slow exhales, big deep breaths, is that tension in the back tends to unwind. So in general, when we breathe in and out, different parts of the back lift away from the ground and touch down again. And what I've found is that with some of these long exhales, some parts of the back that weren't touching the ground at all will touch down. You might even feel that weird, in a very pleasant way, sensation of a knot untying. Maybe a tight spot you weren't even conscious of letting go. And one little area of the back touching down that hadn't touched down yet in this practice. Take a few more rounds of candle blowing breath. I'm going to say, for the sake of the video recording being made for the YouTubers, that some hiccups have snuck into my breath exercise. So that wasn't an unannounced change that I wanted you to do in your breathing. That's an unannounced change that snuck up on me. A couple of silent hiccups in there. I'm okay. What does that look like on video? I'll find out when I edit the video later for upload. Our bodies, our breath are endlessly interesting, I think. I've done this many, many times over the past 9 years since I learned this, I think. And I've never had hiccups during the breathing. No, my mouth is up 7 years. Anyway, after your next long inhale, the next round of blowing out those candles, just let your breath flow on its own without direction. Taking in how that feels. Integrating whatever comes up, whether it's a hiccup or a yawn, a cough or a sneeze, anything else. Scan your body head to toe. Notice the contact with the ground. Do you feel more grounded than when you're? There are no wrong answers, just checking in. And also just taking in whatever other sensations you detect in your body. Not to limit ourselves to breathing or grounding. What's going on in the body? Especially noting any stiffness or soreness, any unpleasant, unwanted sensations. Make note of where those are so that you can take care of those body areas during our movement practice, remembering that you can modify or skip any part of what I'll be doing, what I'll be cueing. Sometimes I cue something and don't do it myself, and sometimes that's because of something going on in my body. And start to move little by little. So maybe let the knees wiggle back and forth, start to move your fingers. As long as you start small and slow, any movement is fine. It's a bit like coming out of Shavasana, but we're not going to sit up and say namaste and end our practice. We're just starting into the movement portion of practice. Draw your left knee towards your chest, hold it with your right hand. Extend your right leg down along the mat, flex your right foot back towards you, and reach your left arm out to the side with your palm facing up. Gently use that right arm to draw your knee to the right, Turn your head to the left. The closer your knee is to your torso, the deeper this will feel. So you can decide how that's going to be for yourself by repositioning your knee. Come back to center. And switch. Extend the left leg, draw the right knee in, hold it with the left hand, flex the left foot back, reach your right arm to the side palm up, letting your shoulders stay grounded, draw your knee to the left, and turn your head to the right. Come slowly back to center. Now draw both knees in. Now hug them, rock side to side, or roll in circles, massage your back against the floor. And do some gentle hip opening. I found this a really pleasant sensation, this movement. With your hands on your knees, start to nudge your legs around using your arms. Move your knees in circles in opposite directions. I like to picture like think of the beaters on an electric mixer, like a hand mixer, where there are two beaters rotating in opposite directions. But of course, much more slowly. And then change the direction. So we're still going in opposite directions. Now let's take a few full body stretches. Inhale, extend your arms and legs all the way out. Exhale, curl up the ball. And again, curl up it in a ball again. And continue at the pace of your own breath. Start to trip over my words there. Let's mix things up. This is I most often do this near the end of practice. So let's take happy baby pose. Stick your feet up, reach your hands up. You can hold your legs or your feet anywhere you like and play with moving your arms and legs around. So maybe there's some rocking side to side. But whatever movement you want, could be big or small. And changing familiar routines, we develop neuroplasticity, mental flexibility, stretching the brain. There are little things we can do off the mat to help foster this too. For example, things you do every day, like brushing your hair or your teeth, or maybe shaving. Maybe you habitually always start on the right side because you're right-handed, or on the left side because you're right-handed. If you consciously note which side you start on and alternate, like, okay, last time I brushed my teeth, I started on the right, so this time I'll start on the left. And let's start to sit up. You could gently tip onto your side and press your hands to the floor, or if you want, hold your legs and rock front to back like this. Sometimes this doesn't feel good in the back, so it's good to have the other option. It feels very good for me right now. Make your way up to a seat. Any seated position that's comfortable for you. You don't have to sit the way I do. You don't have to drink when I do, drink whenever you want. Reach your arms out to the sides and rest your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, lift your left arm up alongside your head. And as you exhale, let it drape across your head. So your fingertips come down by the right ear. And gently, using mostly just the weight of your arm, draw your head to the left. This is traction for the neck, for the trapezius muscle here. If you want, raise the right hand a little, reach out through your fingertips and see if you can feel what height for your hand brings that muscle to its maximum length. And if you can't tune into that, it's okay. But that's the aim here. So when I'm going like this, that's a shorter trap. It's generally down here near the floor. If you have that right hand raised, let it down. Now allow your neck to stay passive. Let your left hand slide across your head and down to your cheek, and use your arm to raise your head back to center. Let that hand down. Inhale, raise your right arm. As you exhale, let it drape over. And gently draw your head to the right. If you want, lift that opposite hand, your left hand, just a little. Left hand down if it's raised. Let your right hand slide over, neck stays passive. Use your arm up to lift your head. Let that hand down. Sometimes letting the neck be passive and be supported by the arm is the trickiest part of the sequence there. Let's take some spinal twist. Walk your right hand behind you, bringing your left hand to your right leg as you do so. Maybe it's just your fingertips on the floor back here. Hand in line with the spine. Picture there, I'll try to see your hand. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, maybe twist some more. Work your way up from the waist. With each exhale, maybe there's further to go. And when there isn't, just breathe where you are. Just finding how much twist is enough, remembering that we don't have to go as far as we can. Something we have to remind ourselves. Everything doesn't have to be bigger, better, faster, more. Or to put it another way, bigger, faster, more is not necessarily better. Enjoying sufficiency. How much is enough? Let the twist unwind. And we'll twist the other way. Right hand comes to left leg, left hand behind you, support. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Let your twist unwind. Let your arms hang loosely by your sides. Lift your left shoulder, slide it back, and let it down. And your right shoulder, raise it up, send it back, let it down. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Gently and slowly start to roll your ear towards your shoulder. And let your head tip back. Other ear towards the shoulder. Back down through center. If you find any tight places, you can rock back and forth to loosen those up. I'll say a bit about the shoulder adjustment we did before we started our circles. I learned that from my Alexander technique teacher, Cecile Rayner, the one who also taught me constructive rest. And Cecile taught me that our shoulders ride at different heights. So often we do shrugs and move both shoulders at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with doing some shrugs. It's a good loosening movement. But what we just did there was more of a skeletal adjustment, and it's honoring and allowing for that difference. We're not trying to get our shoulders to ride at the same height. It's okay that there are different heights. We learn in school that our bodies are bilaterally symmetrical. They have the same thing on the right and the left. But really, when you look at things more closely or measure things, we are very asymmetrical. One hand's bigger than the other, one foot, one ear, just about everything. You check the right and the left on any given person, and you're going to find some differences. Maybe not things you would notice in casual observation, but the differences are there. Let's take some circles going in the other direction. Sometimes we get funny sounds come from our neck or other joints. If my neck or something else cracks and I'm making a recording, I wonder, did that sound make it through the mic? Did they hear that? Interestingly, I don't get as many cracking sounds from my neck as I used to. I have fewer articulations in my neck than I used to, thanks to a pair of spine surgeries, one earlier this year and one 10 years before that. Fewer moving parts, fewer noises. When you finish the next circle, lift your chin and face forward. Now let's do some seated cow cat breaths, hands on the knees or thighs. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head go back. Exhale, bring your heart back, let your head tip forward and down. And just follow the pace of your own breath. Don't have to breathe my pace. And maybe with repetition, the movements and the breaths grow bigger. Each helps the other. Using the whole inhale to come forward, the whole exhale to go back. And after the next exhale, sit up nice and tall again. Inhale, reach out to the sides, arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself. Take a couple of deep breaths, opening the back of the heart, the space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, open up again. As you exhale, cross the opposite way. Inhale, open up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, out and up. Interlace your fingers. Now here's the thing for neuroplasticity. We all have an intuitive way we interlace our fingers. Let go and interlace them the opposite way. Then turn your palms up, reach your palms up, and look up at your hands and lift your heart. Maybe you never thought of that before. Anytime we interlace our fingers or you cross your legs, cross your arms, there's an intuitive way we do it, and whether you know it or not. Inhale, become upright. Exhale, bend to the left. Feel the length through both arms. This isn't a big bend. Stay anchored in both sides of your seat. Let your head be wherever your neck feels okay. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend to the right. So maybe you're more used to doing this standing, used to a bigger bend. But we're still lengthening here from the hip, up the arm, into the hand and fingers. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arms down. Let's do a little more for arms, hands, shoulders. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Interlace your fingers. The intuitive way is okay. Reach forward with your palms like this. Raise your arms overhead. Lower them down. Draw your hands to your heart. Inhale up through center. Exhale out and down. Let's do that whole thing 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Now do the counterintuitive. Then reach forward. Raise up. Lower down. Hands to heart. Up through center. Exhale out and down. Once more. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlace your fingers whichever way you want. Reach forward. And then up. Lower down. Hands to heart. Up through center. Out and down. Maybe the counterintuitive interlacing is just a little weird. Maybe it's actually uncomfortable. It varies. Bring your hands to the floor in front of you. Walk them forward for a simple forward fold. Just as far as you want. It doesn't have to be as far as you can, right? Let your neck relax. Let your head droop down. Breathe into your back. Or if you feel tension elsewhere, breathe into wherever that is. See if some breaths here can ease some of that tension out. You can stay active in the upper body and keep reaching forward, or let your hands and arms relax. Inhale and walk your hands back and sit yourself up. Let's work a little with the legs and the feet. Lift a leg, whichever one you have in front of the other one. Let the leg be passive, supported by the arm. Let the foot be passive. With the opposite hand, interlace your fingers between your toes. If you can't do that, or some folks like to practice with socks on, if the feet are chilly, you can just wrap your hand over your toes like this. Passive leg, passive foot. Gently and slowly move your foot in circles to loosen up your ankle. Just because we did no standing in this practice doesn't mean we should ignore our feet. And let's change direction. I gotta say, after starting this a few months ago, this class where we don't stand at all, I really like having the computer just a bit closer to me to see you better. You see me better. If I stood up, my head would go out of frame, but I'm not going to stand up, so I know I can set things up closer. And let's release the toes. Use both arms to support the weight of your full leg. So you don't have to use this grip I'm using. This is the one I like. But as long as the leg is passive, your arms are holding it up. Whatever grip you want works. And start to rock your leg in circles. Back to where we were at the beginning. Femur and hip socket. Biggest joint in the human skeleton. And change direction. A very chill and relaxed, simple movement practice, but spending more time on meditation and playing a bit with neuroplasticity. We did Happy Baby near the beginning. We often do this near the beginning. Now we're doing it near the end when we might have been doing Happy Baby. Let that leg down and let's lift the other one. Grab your toes. Start with gentle, slow circles for this ankle. Having and staying conscious of and fostering, nurturing neuroplasticity is right in line with my headlining cue of skipping or modifying it if you want. Change direction. If your mind is agile, you're more likely to go off script to take care of your body. I'm thinking of a friend, a student who has an ankle that's largely immobile, so he can't make these circles. So when we're on that side, he kind of massages his foot. Let's release those toes, support the weight of the other leg. See, when I do this, I interlace, so I'm going the opposite way. That's me. Make the big circles, rocking the femur in the hip socket. And they don't have to be as big as my circles, whatever feels good for your hip. It's right on the edge between exploring how much room there is and maybe clearing some more space. Just the leading edge of that, not forcing anything. Change direction. And I let that leg down. And it's time to lie down. Yes, even in a super slow, super chill practice, we wind down. Maybe cool down isn't the right word because maybe we didn't heat up. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Reach your arms out to the sides, palms up. And first, try that again. First, let your legs fall to the left. And patiently just letting your breath bring you out. Maybe with a few more breaths, the legs will go further, maybe not. Knowing that the breath is doing different things as we put our body into different shapes. Whether that leads to further movement or not. The breath is doing its work. Now bring your legs back up to center so the right foot is planted flat. Let the legs go to the right and turn your head to the left. Try to keep your shoulders grounded. Bring into a fuller spinal twist. Maybe a little less about the hips than when we let the legs go the other way. When we do a supine twist with the legs crossed like this, ankle above the knee, this is an energizing leg configuration. So you might find when you step off your mat, close your device, that you've got some energy you didn't have. Wonderfully, it can have a delayed effect. It's not like a burst of energy you get right when you do the twist or even right after. So subtler kind of. Come on back up to center. Let's cross legs the opposite way. And let your legs drift to the right. Letting them hang, letting go where they'll go. No plan, no destination. Come on back up through center. Let your legs keep going over to the left and turn your head to the right. Slowly back to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees to your chest and hug them. And rock and roll, massage your back against the floor. If there are any other movements or postures you want to explore before Shavasana, you can feel free to do so. You can rock and roll as long as you want. And when you feel complete, you make your way to your final resting pose. And as always, it doesn't have to be the traditional corpse pose. That's what the word Shavasana means. It's the name for this posture. With legs extended, feet splayed out, hands at the sides, palms up or pinky edges of the hands on the ground like that. But sometimes that's not comfortable. So just make your way to a position that is. Closing your eyes if you want. Come back to focusing on your breath. We'll get quiet and find some degree of stillness to absorb, integrate the benefits of the preceding practice. You could keep focusing on your breath, let go of the need to focus, choose something else to focus on, whatever suits you. Give yourselves deeper breaths. And begin moving little by little. Whatever movements you want. Gradually inviting bigger and bigger movements to your body. When you're ready, gently sit yourself up. Thank you for sharing in this practice. The light within me sees and honors the same light